Hello Guardian, I hope this video finds you well. Carpe is here. In today's video, we'll speak about Destiny Rising. We'll go over some stuff that might get you to not try the game beforehand out of misconceptions, but then I will speak about the very positive things. In fact, there's so many good and great things this game has to offer. Without further ado, let's get right onto it. So, Destiny Rising. You think this is a gacha mobile game, yada yada, to grind it, pay to win, so you don't wanna try. Well, it's not as it seems. There's plenty of infinite farms you can do without that daily energy mechanic from gacha games. You could even gain infinite weapons and god rolls. You even have the option to just gain some engrams to let me show you. You even get the option of getting some parts to craft engrams and just select the weapon you want and farm your god rolls. I currently don't have them as I already spent them, but you can see I have my weapons with full mythic perks and whatnot. So yeah, there's that. Even multiple other currencies, you can just farm them. I would say that from pro to casual, within 1 week to 1 month, you'd be alright with everything maxed and unlocked, even as a free-to-play player like me. I'm just free to play. I think I've bought something about 5 euros or so, but I could just have not. Yeah. Been playing a bit too much as I've been sick these last couple of weeks, but aside from that, it's still pretty fast to get stuff. It's not as grind as one might think before trying. You usually just get your account to level 80, it's account based and it will power your characters, and then you do some other stuff. Now that the big elephant is out of the room, what does this game have to offer? Why even playing it? Well, for the social people, there's lots of people, and for the roleplay interaction, you have multiple people in tower and some other instances of social areas. You have card games like Gwent from The Witcher. You have Sparrow Racing, Iron Bar, that's Iron Banner. You have fishing. Speaking of fishing, you even get emotes with a fish bigger like you to just flex on the tower with people. And yeah, you even have leaderboards for those things, a shop to get a better bait and fishing role, whatnot. You have all that kind of stuff. Most of those game modes I haven't even tried or do, because you know me, I like more of the endgame stuff, but it's still cool to know that's there. And role-playing players, like people who play a lot of for fantasy, WoW and whatnot, and even others, could find these casual aspects really good. I know people who just play the game all day, only doing those social activities. About the exploration, you have this system of reputation with vendors, of the main vendor of the destination or patrol zone, where you keep acquiring rewards by ranking up. And on top of it, as you rank up, you unlock these exploration systems, like a jumping puzzle, a kind of a Splinter Cell game, avoiding and turning off some lasers, collecting some Amkara bones, like on the Dreaming Wish and whatnot, Dreaming City I mean. And these things will award you even more rep and account XP and a bunch of other rewards. That's pretty cool. I like the open world patrol zone exploration of this game. I do like it a lot. They do a really great onboarding job, because remember, this is not canon to the Destiny 2 history. This is a separate, its own game thing. But you still show up in the middle of something, like the new character in Edge of Fate, and there's light, there's guardians, there's this, there's that. So the story first gets you tries to get you on track of it, gets you up to speed, and then breaks apart and gives you the actual story. They do it in a really good way that's a huge onboarding. And the final missions and cutscenes are chef's kiss, better than some campaigns on many AAA games, I would say. If you don't believe me, try it for yourself. You even get to play as a ghost or shoot from a sparrow while the other guardian is driving. The main characters of the story, Ikor and some others, will actually like play with you and help you in a way, both in-game and cutscenes. You have a system of skipping the cutscene and getting a briefing, like a summary of what happened. Written text, just 1 or 2 lines. That's pretty good as well. On top of it, you even have a bunch of tutorial systems that go further with that onboarding idea. You get fangs, what's AVM, or what's this, what that. You even have a search bar. So Shinkas are champions, you can see what to do, what not to do. You have a tutorial system where you go into this practice zone and they don't attack you and you can test and try out stuff. You even have a shooting range where you can spawn the champions and try to stun them and do all those things. And then that leads us to another social feature, which is the clan. Clan has all these things. You have player housing inside of the main house. You can walk around, shoot the practice range, do DPS checks. You have this table of operations like World of Warcraft, but you can explore. Now it's just weekly reset, so we lost our stuff. But last week my clan has just killed all bosses. You find bosses here, and then you click to spend your travel points or whatever, and you do an attack. You do like multiple attacks. So you actually go there and you have a boss encounter where you can go in solo or up to 6 men, and you could one phase or just do multiple attacks on the boss. You just do the mechanics and then DPS until the timer is over. And you could with the boss at 70% HP, then 50, then 30, whatever. If it's 1%, is 1%. You do a new attack, do the mechanics, go into DPS, and his HP bar is already there. You just kill him. You keep attacking. You also unlock some kind of solo strike lost sectors in that clan thing. That's pretty good. Well, but enough of that casual stuff. Although some people really like that, that's not really my jam, but you have a bunch of other game modes, strikes and whatnot. You have this thing which is the main thing of this game to me. To me, this is the selling point. Well, there's raids, GMs and whatnot, but this is the actual selling point. Singularity. So our friends are here, that portal starts a new thing, that one goes from a checkpoint. Yes, you can save checkpoints on this thing. This is a roguelike activity, like a Season of the Wish thing, but better than here. It's a really fun game design. So you actually have 2 game modes that are one and done for rewards, and another kind of infinite mode where you farm some stuff and you can even attune for what you want to drop. Roguelike, again, you do multiple encounters, keep acquiring powers and whatnot. That's really fun. Speaking about strikes, you have the normal strike. There's there. And you also have heroic version. Then you obviously have Master and GM. Master and GM off strike, and also of another thing called Blitz, but I'll go on that in a second. Still on strikes, you have Calamity Ops. This is kind of a Nightfall, but this one keeps escalating in power delta, and you acquire multiple rewards as you go up. And there's also even a leaderboard system for an extra bigger reward at the end of a season. That's pretty cool. The other thing I was saying that also has Master and GM, aside from strikes, it works the same way. It's called Blitz. About the same resources and rewards as well. just different exotic pool, and Blitz is a 6-man activity. There's 3 different ones in the rotation currently. You just get any of them random. One is a high vulgar boss encounter with some mechanics and a timed DPS phase, and you just go over and over until you kill him. The other is a fallen captain that you chase over multiple encounters until you eventually kill him on like the 3rd or 4th encounter. So this works kind of like a raid in a sense. And there's another fallen boss that has like 3 or 4 encounters, and the last encounter is just the boss itself. That one reminds me of that pirate season with the fallen skiffs jumping over and over on those ships. So yeah, this is really good. As for the raid has 3 encounters. You can just watch each encounter separate. They haven't done the contest mode yet. They will do it later on because the raid was shown in beta and they just launched it on the first week, but it was power capped. Now it's uncapped. This is the raid power. Now, one thing they did really good in this game is the raid has 3 exotics. Each encounter has its own exotic. But this one is a shotgun. This one is this crossbow. I actually have both of those. Not flexing by any means. And on the last encounter there's the LMG. Now, if you notice closely, on each encounter there's its own exotic, plus there's a 5 exotic pool of other exotics that also show up in all 3 encounters. So all 3 encounters of the raid have the chance of getting you the raid exotic itself, plus one of these other exotics, including Easy, the good old Easy. If you know it, you know it. Anyway, this is a really cool mechanic. I wish this was on Destiny 2, so the raid having a chance to drop something that's outside of the raid. Well, in duality you have that. You have those weapons that are not part of the dungeon, and they are there. So you could just do this on the raids as well, especially with the new gear, tier systems and portal. But anyway, this is about Destiny Rising, so this is a really cool feature. By the way, the raids, I want to give a huge shout out to ES9 for soloing the first encounter. There's so the way he does this, there's 3 or 4 characters who can do this. He just steps on the box, on the cable, on top of the portal, and he skips with some blinks and whatnot. He just skips to the other side, goes and does the mechanic. Then when he wants to come back to not spend abilities and be able to do stuff in time, because you're still on a timer to kill the ads, he does a pretty long jumping puzzle, goes all the way up, and then he just jumps to the beginning. Really cool solo. I guess you could also just do normal 3-man, so you could open, send one guy, then a second person would skip, and both of them would open for the third or whatever. So in case you don't know, you usually have to do 2 phases, and only on the 3rd phase the plates open on the other side. So for the first 2 phases, the plates only open on spawn area, which is kinda lame, but anyway. Also, second encounter is maybe trio or 4 if you don't have time. Third encounter could be a duo if you can DPS check, because the bosses in this game have just 2 phases, otherwise it's a wipe. Anyway, big shout out to Ryu Jones, Monkey Bunky and Snuff for 3-manning the boss on last encounter. This is a really cool and clever woman. I like it because the encounter kind of has no mechanics, but the way they do this with the portal and stuff is pretty interesting. Maybe it could be a duo, but then you had to DPS check, so I don't know if that's possible. On beta I saw a solo, but the guy just skips some mechanics and RNGs the weak spot, like RNGing Riven Eyes, and the ES to one face. That's a bit meh. Maybe on a season where something is overpowered, but whatever. I like to see this as just a trio and a possible solo, if the damage is there. Anyway, big shout out, you know I'll always prioritize moment stuff and raids. But yeah, game seems pretty good. I don't know how much of it I'll be playing with my time, but if this video does well enough, I'll start making guides and covering the game in general. Otherwise, I'll still be covering mainly raids and possible lowmans. Maybe some GMs here and there or some other stuff. And you have so much more. I could spend so much time here talking about things and this and that. Especially on the social side. Oh man, you have infinite gaming to play on this one. So I definitely recommend everyone giving it a try. And yeah, playing this does not negate you from or deny you from playing other games. Same for the reverse. So yeah, just give it a go and have fun. Game is pretty cool. Except I still don't have my solar lock. Everyone has literally all characters except me. I'm missing one, which is the werewolf, and that sucks. But anyway, and as always, take care of yourself, Guardian, because you are worth it.